Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, Gallup every month releases their party index tracking poll, and it kind of shows people, does the public really lean more Republican or do they lean more Democrat? And this takes leaners into account because you could have, let's say, 30% Republican, 30% Democrat, 40% independent. You don't really know which way those independents lean, but a lot of them do lean one way or another to the point where they're not exactly going to be swing voters in many cases. I mean, I'd say probably around 10 to 15% of the public at most actually qualify as swing voters at this point, especially with more polarization. But what we are seeing is something very interesting because this tends to be a historically useful tracker going all the way back to like 2010 for what presidential elections end up looking like and in terms of how the electorate really looks. And it seems as if in the most recent Gallup survey that they did, it shows that Republicans have a 7-point upswing since last poll. And on top of that, they maintain a 6% advantage over the Democrats, which means they're at 49%. They're almost to 50% right now. And if this keeps up between now and Election Day 2024, Biden is going to be a one-term president. Make no mistake about it. And this is higher than it was last year in terms of the index. You look at 2020, it was D+5. 2018, it was D+6 on average for the whole year. Not necessarily just on, the election eve month, whatever, wherever they're doing the survey. But you look at Biden and you see what's going on, especially with what's going on recently. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about what's going on with Hamas and Israel in the Middle East. The bottom line is the U.S. could get dragged into yet another conflict overseas. And Biden, once again, demonstrates weak leadership. If Donald Trump was in the White House, you wouldn't have these problems. You wouldn't. What did Trump do? He went out there. He did his best to negotiate peace deals with all of these countries in the Middle East, including Israel, and he did his best to make sure that there was a lack of conflict. I'm not saying that there wasn't any conflict at all, but altogether things were far better overseas with Donald Trump than with Biden, which now it seems like we may be getting into another conflict, funding another conflict. Biden technically has funded both sides of the conflict because he's given billions of dollars to Iran. Now he wants to flip the script. It is a big mess, folks. It is a big mess. But you look at Biden's approval rating, it's in the gutter. It is absolutely in the gutter. He is down horrendously. He is down by 14.3 on the net. It's probably even lower than that if we're going to be completely honest. But you look at this, his approval has hit the lowest point that it has hit in approximately, well over a year actually. And he's not really turning the corner whatsoever. And it gets worse for Biden when you look at his approval on these specific issues. What exactly is Biden's approval rating on the economy? And you look at this, oh wait, he's down even worse. He's down 24 points on the economy. People disapprove of Biden's economy. They love the Trump economy. And this is something that's going to be able to be wedged against Biden in an election. You look at foreign policy. Once again, Trump has the upper hand regarding foreign policy. If you look at Biden's foreign policy, he's down by 17 on foreign policy. I think it's lower than that, to be completely honest. Then you look at him on inflation, minus 33. You talk about a low unemployment rate. You talk about all these other economic metrics. Oh, he's adding jobs. Yeah, it doesn't exactly add up when you're adding jobs that are not keeping up with inflation, which is still much higher than it should be, despite all of these efforts that he tried to put in place to really curtail it. You're seeing on the ground, prices are still higher than ever. And even if the, increases in prices are sort of slowing down, you're not seeing an uptick in wages to really overcome that. That's part of the reason why you have these auto strikes and things of that sort of nature. And you're looking at the approval rating on inflation, 2/3 of the country disapprove of him on the issue of inflation. That probably includes a chunk of Democrats. They're still likely going to vote for Biden regardless. But you're looking at this and it's like he is down horrendously. It is brutal. You look at crime, down minus 21 on crime. You look at his approval rating on immigration, for example, he's down by 30. The border crisis is a massive, massive issue for this country. And when Republicans talk about it, they gain support. And Biden's approval rating on the subject is in utter shambles. And these are all issues that are key issues. What issues is Biden actually leading on? It doesn't really seem as if there's any. The only issue that Biden is leading on that has a slightly higher approval rating than his overall approval rating is Ukraine, where he has a 43% approval rating and he's down in the single digits. But at the same time, there have been very few polls that have actually polled this issue, and I think it honestly would be much lower in reality, especially when you take into consideration the fact that his foreign policy approval rating is far more underwater than this. And also you have to look at the direction of the country polls, because those are very important, because they dictate how does the country really feel about the state of affairs. And you're looking at this, 23% of people believe the country is in the right direction. This is true. And if you remember back during, Trump's presidency pre-COVID, you had the wrong track at, it was very close. And obviously people are cynical overall. Even when you saw Obama win in 2012, the country, most people said, was on the wrong track. But if, you have 35 to 40% of people that say the country's on the right track, that typically means that overall, if you're the president or you're the incumbent party, that you're going to do well, or you're at least going to have a shot. But then you look at this in 2021, obviously COVID was over. I think you saw a little bit of a bump because of that, not necessarily because of Biden. But then you see the fallout from that. You don't see the economic resurgence to what it was. You have ridiculous inflation, ridiculously high gas prices, all of these things happening. And then you see the foreign affairs failures, whether it's the botched withdrawal of Afghanistan, or whether if it's the Ukraine aid that a lot of people, even if they initially supported it because it was like the NPC thing to do, even some people on the right did. I was one of the first people to say, let's not get involved with this conflict. A lot of people finally came to that agreement, and it really just shows how out of touch the political class is with reality and with the American people. And overall, people are just not happy with the way that Biden has handled things abroad, and it's honestly only going to get worse from here. And now you see only 23% of Americans believe that our country is on the right track right now. This is a gold mine. This is a gold mine overall. You're looking at Biden. He's very unpopular. You're also seeing the fact that he's even more unpopular on like all of the issues that you can attack Biden on. It gets worse and worse for Biden the more campaign season will go on. And 2022, a lot of people will point to that and say, well, they didn't do too bad in the midterms. Well, people need to understand Biden was obviously talked about during the midterm cycle, but a lot of these Democrat candidates did not tie themselves to Biden. And as a result, I don't think they got punished as much as Biden would get punished if Biden was on the ballot. The same way that certain candidates that were endorsed by Trump but underfunded vastly underperformed Donald Trump in a lot of these swing states where Donald Trump tends to be that X factor that supercharges turnout, like Pennsylvania, for example, or Michigan, where Republicans didn't do so well, but where Biden was unpopular. So I don't think you can always use midterm years to predict the next election cycle. I think it's dumb. And I think you just have to look at the big picture here, where it's Biden and it's probably going to be Trump. And while Trump doesn't have a ridiculously high favorable rating, he's also being constantly attacked by his own party, and he's not going to be a year from now, whereas Biden basically has the entire party behind him, but his favorables are absolutely in the gutter. 23% of people say that the country is on the right track. And then you look at Biden on some issues like immigration, inflation, he's down by like 30 points on those issues. He's down by 20 plus on the economy, despite having a low unemployment rate. He's down 20% on an issue like foreign policy. It is an utter disaster. It's not looking good for Biden's re-election bid. And that's the way that it is. I mean, there's no realistic way that you could take any one of these issues and somehow spin it effectively and have voters believe, oh, Biden's doing a great job. He's not. And as a result, it's very likely that this is the reason why you see a record amount of voters considering themselves to be Republican, and you see Democrats trailing behind by a significant amount. Now, it is true a lot can change between now and next November, but it doesn't exactly seem as if things are going to trend up anytime soon for this administration. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle out.